And an unforgettable night for the Phoenix Suns duo.
The Suns can't keep this up. And we can start it off by talking about Devin Booker because, yes, he had a very special performance today. And it's not only special because he dropped 47 points, it's special because he did that all with 0 free throws. Okay, well, not 0 free throws because at the end of the game with 4 seconds left, he went and shot 2. But can we just call it 0 free throws, please? Can we not just follow the statistic of it? And can we just say this was a 0 free throw game where he scored 47 points? And even though Devin Booker did have 47 points and was shooting 20 for 25, right? 80% from the field, I still think that the Suns could have lost. And the only reason why they didn't lose, in my opinion, is because Kevin Durant, he scored 39 points. Now, obviously, everyone's gonna be talking about Devin Booker and how great he's been, but no one will really give the credit to Kevin Durant for what he did on the court because what he did was very special. And when I say that what he did on the court was special, I'm not just talking about your average Kevin Durant experience where he goes and hits a little mid-range shot. No, he wasn't even hitting well from mid-range. So instead, he switched it up mid-game and said, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drive into the paint. I'm gonna attack the basket, and that's what he did, and that's what worked. So he really stuck with that throughout the game, and it was just great to see him make that adjustment and really do something to better the team, because if KD kept on pulling up for those mid-range shots, they may not have gone in, and it would have been really bad. But no, he really saved the game. And trust me, I'm going to get into the reasons why the Phoenix Suns will not win this series after this, but I do want to give my credit to some of the other players on the team as well. First off, Landale played a great game, and if you look specifically at the statistics, it won't really show that, but the man was so good on defense. He was just such a big force of energy out there. I mean, you saw him just out there clapping, hustling, high five, running to pull players up, stuff that is just so huge, especially for a player coming off the bench. And like I said, the defensive effort he put out, the offensive rebounds that he was grabbing, it was all just so great. It was such a huge thing for the Phoenix Suns to have because one of their main problems is their depth and how bad it is, and we'll get into that, I promise. And by the way, I mean defensive rebounds. Sorry about that. The Suns also really outran the Nuggets with them going so fast in transition and really playing at a higher pace than them, which honestly, I'm giving all the credit to Campaign on that because every time he was on the floor, they were really running it fast. Campaign came in and took that spot for Chris Paul and was just such a huge piece of the team, even though once again, it doesn't really show on the stat sheet. All right, Suns fans, I'm done hyping you guys up. It is now time to go over why I think the Suns will not win this series. They simply won't win because how often do you watch games where 2 players score 86 out of the 121 points in the game? I don't know. There's probably a very few amount of times that has happened, and that is the only reason why the Suns won this game. It's because of how many points KD and Booker both scored together. They outscored the Nuggets. They didn't outplay them. They outscored them. In any other game where Booker and KD don't put up historic numbers, in Nikola Jokic game where he puts up 30 points, 17 rebounds, and 17 assists, that is a clean win for the Nuggets. But Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are both historic players. They are going to have nights where they put up insane numbers like they did today. It just simply won't last. They can't do it, but let's just say hypothetically, okay, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker both start putting up stats like this every night for the rest of this series, right? And they beat the Nuggets. They cannot do it for 2 more rounds. There is simply no way that they can, and it circles back to the problem that we've had ever since the Suns traded for KD, which is that the Suns' depth isn't enough. And there's all this talk about, you know, was it worth trading the farm for Kevin Durant? And honestly, I feel like that's something that we should talk about more in the offseason because I feel like that's when you can really see the Suns build a team around their new core piece in Kevin Durant. So we'll save all that talk for later. Moral of the story is I do not see the Phoenix Suns winning the series no matter how good they play. I don't care if Devin Booker scores 100 points next game. They can't keep that up for the entire playoff series. And if they do, like I said, if they do, they can't do it for 2 more rounds. I know that for damn sure. I also feel like it's kind of important to say that I honestly don't view this Suns team as a super team anymore. And I will say right now, I am guilty because at first I thought that this team was a super team. As soon as you hear Kevin Durant going to the Suns with Devin Booker and Chris Paul, you think, damn, that is a squad. But looking at the supporting cast and seeing that Chris Paul is kind of a washed ass old man now, they're really not a super team. It's 2v5 out there. That is all this is. This is a 2v5 series. On the Nuggets side of things, obviously Jokic had a great game today. Not really surprised. I mean, he put up an historic game. I think this was the most assists he's had in a playoff game. 17 assists, 17 rebounds, 30 points. I mean, it's sad that that's just going to get buried under the insane Booker performance because I feel like a lot of people deserve the spotlight in this game. One of the spotlights being Aaron Gordon's poster, and one poster over Kevin Durant. This shit blew my socks off, and for some reason the commentators are acting like they just took a Xanax and are now sleeping on the broadcast because what the actual fuck was their reaction? Also, did I say Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr.? I can't remember. I don't know. If I said Aaron Gordon, I very much apologize. Michael Porter Jr. is who I meant. But the thing that got me is when MPJ threw this dunk over Kevin Durant, this and one dunk, the first thing the commentators say is, wow, what an absurd pass by Jokic.
Jokic, an absurd pass.
What? Did we see the same dunk? My ass would be upstanding. Holy fucking shit, MPJ with a hammer. Yo, great pass by Jokic. Like, dude, knock that shit off. Knock that shit off, please. Fuck. Jamal Murray also had a great game, which is huge for him coming off of his actual shitter game on game 2. It was really great to see him actually have a good game after that, because I'm not gonna lie, he scares me a little bit, okay? Because sometimes he has a great game, great performance. Next one, he has a bad game. But I put my trust in Jamal Murray, okay? I think that he'll be fine. I don't think there's anything to worry about. He had a great game today, though, dropping 32 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds. Damn, I did not know he got those rebounds. That's crazy. But at the end of the day, this series hasn't officially started until one of the teams win a road game. That is really when this series starts, in my opinion. That is when I see a huge shift. And speaking about a team winning a road game, the Celtics versus 76ers game today was interesting because James Harden is ruining the 76ers season. He's been a great piece for them the regular season. Okay, we all know that. He really had a resurgence in his career after his failed time in Brooklyn. And to be honest, he had maybe 3 good games in the playoffs this year, with 2 of those being in the last series, and obviously the one recently being his like 45-point game in the game 1 of the Celtics series. But he's been ass. He's been ass. And I don't know if he's ass because I've been putting bets on him. I'm sorry if that's the case. I'm sorry, James Harden. I won't bet on you anymore. You can go ahead and have a good game now. But yeah, he's been terrible. And when you have a guy who's been such a core piece, especially throughout the regular season for you, and all of a sudden he's a no-show in the playoffs, you are going to struggle because you can no longer look to that guy, right? That's a very obvious thing that we all know. And Joel Embiid cannot do this shit alone, because I don't think people understand how serious this Joel Embiid injury is. This is something where he's supposed to take like 3 to 4 weeks off, but he cannot because he wants to be there for this team in the playoffs. So it's hard for him to just be like, sorry guys, can't play anymore. But if there's no one to really help out Embiid in this series, it's over. There's no way that the 76ers can really come back and play in this. And it also doesn't help that the Celtics took their home court advantage back after the game today, because speaking about the Celtics, I hear a lot of people say Jaylen Brown is a better playoff performer than Jason Tatum, at least in the past 2 years. I'm not going to talk about last year, because last year, I mean, we all saw the Tatum finals run, and he's going to come out and say that he had some sort of injury or whatever. We're not going to talk about it. But this year, that statement is just not true. We've seen maybe 2 or 3 bad games from Tatum. Other than that, he's been Jason Tatum. He's been him. And before anyone says anything, I do not care about the last game he played where he only scored 7 points, because the Celtics won, okay? If they lost that game, yes, that is huge. As a leader of your team, to lose a game and only score 7 points, that is crazy. But they won the game. We throw it away. We don't care. I just felt like I had to really get that out of the way, because I feel like Tatum's been really undervalued when it comes to his playoff performance because of last year specifically. But man, the Celtics' ability to just have their entire starting 5 be good at hitting threes at an effective rate, it is one of the things that makes this team so good. That, as well as their passing and how smooth they are with the ball. The Celtics team is scary, man. The Celtics team is scary. I have a feeling that they'll beat the 76ers. 76ers fans are going to say it's because Joel Embiid wasn't healthy. At this point of the season, no one is healthy. That's how it goes. So yeah, I'm kind of starting to like form my view and my prediction on how the rest of the playoffs are going to go, because I see the Celtics winning this series. It sounds like recency bias, and I hate that, but I just feel like they will, because Joel Embiid isn't healthy and Harden isn't playing good. You know, we went over it. And I think the Knicks will beat the Heat. I think that's how it'll go. With that being said, if you guys all enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. Click the video up on the screen if you did enjoy. I am consistently uploading playoff content. I will have off-season content as well when that time sadly comes around. So hope you guys all have a good one. Later.